Just one. All right. It's the 17th of June. It's a Tuesday. Yeah, we've got about 20 minutes to the NY Open. So we'll go to the charts. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Sorry about that. All right. Let me know if the sound is good. You can hear me clearly. Just a second. Okay. Okay, thanks, Philip. All right. Let's start with the news. So we've got retail sales today. Um, it is an important news event, but shouldn't do a lot. I think prices are currently affected by what's happening globally with Israel, Iran. So retail sales might bring a bit of volume into the market, though, right? And it's at 8:30 a.m. EST, so we're going to wait for news today before we look for any setups, right? Right. Let's take a look at the daily. What happened? Right. So as predicted, price tapped 3450. We spoke about this in the first 10 minutes of yesterday's stream. We said price is coming here. There was a 1 hour. I showed it in the first 5 minutes of the stream. I showed a zone right here at 3,450. I said price is coming there. It's very likely going to push down because it's coming there for the first time, and that's exactly what happened, right? Price pushed down 670 pips, 675 pips. It pushed down, and we've closed bearish engulfing candle on the daily. Um, we could continue to push down, right? If we push back up, grab liquidity, then we could continue to go down, or when news comes out, we can have a sudden drop as well. That's possible too. That's on the daily, right? On the weekly though, we're still very bullish. On the weekly, we're bullish, right? So we could begin to push up if we get to 3367, or if we get even further down, possibly to 3350, then we could begin to push back up, right? There is a daily resistance level here as well, where this wick is right now. Let me just zoom in here. There's daily resistance right here. So price can grab liquidity anywhere in this area and begin to push up as well, because on the weekly time frame we're still bullish, right? So the daily is bearish because it tapped this fresh demand zone here. I mean the fresh supply zone here. We could push down, grab liquidity from a liquidity level, and then continue the weekly bias to push to continue up. Let's go to our trading chart. Yesterday, let's take a look at what happened yesterday. Yeah, I think the market was moving sideways, and then we had a sudden drop, right? There is no, yeah, we were just closing dojis during the stream, and then we had a sudden massive 340 pip candle drop, almost 350 pip candle drop, right? And this was a news-driven event. It was, I think, something to do with the war right now, Iran-Israel war. They're trying to broker a ceasefire. So so if if there's uncertainty, then gold prices push up, as I said, and if there is some sort of solution to that uncertainty, then prices push down, right? and but we had already hit a technical level, so that news event just brought in volume and pushed gold 350 pips down in a single 30-minute candle. Now, there was a trade to be taken here because price was at this point over 200 pips away from the EMAs. So when price pulled back to this liquidity level on the 15-minute time frame, there was a trade to be taken. Price pushed up, created this 15-minute tradable back handle, and then just continued to push down another 165 pips. There was no pullback. The pullback came in the Asian session, right? So there was no immediate pullback, but we broke the low and continued down. And this is something that I've seen now, been seen regularly happen in the New York session, where price doesn't pull back much. The breakouts work. Price, breaks the low, continues down, but it really doesn't pull back. Pulls back later. In the Asian and London session, the pullbacks happen. Right? That's been, something and a regular occurrence over the last 1.5 months, I guess, right? But in the Asian session, there was a clean trade today where price created 30-minute resistance here at the liquidity level, 3,400, and then tapped that level several times and then just dropped 250 pips, right? Okay, let's get rid of all of these and start with the analysis for today. We have a lot of time. We've got about 45 minutes until news, so we'll take our time with the analysis. Yeah, on the 4 hours is looking really ugly. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow, that's a whole day, 24 hours of sideway movement. Yeah, about 22 hours, just price moving sideways. There's nothing happening right now. Okay, let's start with our zones. Let's get rid of this for now. We'll come back to that later. Okay, so there's a zone here. Price has broken that zone. There's a rally, a base, and a rally. We've gone below that zone and tapped this zone. This rally, 3 base-in candles, and a rally. Just a second. One sec. Yeah. So rally, 3 base-in candles, and a rally, right? So we're going to extend this to the right. Start with that. That's where price has tapped already and reacting to. We're going to come back here and look at a liquidity candle in here, right? We'll relook at this liquidity candle, right? In terms of supply, there is a zone up here. Price hasn't come to that yet. So I'm going to start by extending that to the right. Okay. Now we're going to have to look at a lower time frame because on the 4-hour time frame there are no zones here. We've just been ranging. Price is moving sideways under 3,400 and around here. This is the bottom of the range, and that around is the top of the range. If you go to the 1 hour, the range should be a little bit more clearer. Yeah, that's the top of the range, and that's the kind of the bottom of the range. So about 170 pip range, right? Now on the 1 hour, we have a rally, a base, and a drop. Let's start with that. Let's look at the 30-minute. Yeah. When price is ranging, it's tough to draw zones. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this doji here as the base, right? So on the 30-minute time frame, there is a, but I'm going to use the top wick and the bottom wick as the range. So it's a rally, a base, and a drop since it's a doji. 570097. Okay. Extend this to the right as well. Yeah, that's good enough. 500 pips to the upside. That's plenty. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this area as well again. It's messy, but there is a zone here. There's a drop, a base, and a drop from this psychological round number, which I cannot ignore. Yeah, this drop, single basin candle, and a drop. Okay, so let's mark that out as well because we've crossed a psychological round number here on the way down. This open is 375, high is 043. Yeah, it's better. Okay, and that's a 30-minute zone. Right, and then we have this demand zone here. On the 1 hour, there is a drop and a rally, but we're going to keep this demand zone because that's likely where price is coming to. Okay, yeah, there's nothing else there. Okay, yeah, and that covers about 500 pips to the downside. Should be good enough, but we'll extend this as well, just in case. Okay, we're going to come back to these. I'm going to delete these liquidity candles. We'll start this process again. We'll relook at those areas. We have time today. All right, okay. So let's start with so we have two supply zones here, a 30-minute zone and a 1 hour zone. And then we have a 4 hour demand zone here, right? So let's start with these two and see if they're high liquidity zones. So here, this has taken out this low here. What's this low? 276, 289. Eventually took it out here, so making this, yeah, there is demand here, drop base rally. This zone came down, took that out. So this is a high liquidity zone. And then there is a zone here on the 30-minute that has also taken out this. That's one zone basically. That's one zone. They have divided into two. That's one zone. Okay. Right. Now, next step. Let's look at, see this area if you have high liquidity candles here. Price is reacting of 3,400. It's tapped it perfectly. Tapped the EMA, second EMA, and 3,400. Create a 30-minute resistance and a tradable 30-minute back candle close, and price is dropping down. And this is inside pre-NY. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Dropping down. Yeah, but I'm gonna wait. Gonna wait for NY. We're very likely trying to push down, but it's best to wait. Price could come here to 3367. It's very possible. Okay, let's look at the 1 hour time frame. Right, in this area, looking for the largest 1 hour candle, there is this candle right here, 350 pip candle in that range. That's the largest candle. The next would be this 120 pip candle. Yeah, this one right here. Let's go to the 30-minute. Still this candle, 345. This one right here, 117. Start with marking that. Let's go to the 15-minute. Still that candle. That's two. Yeah. It's between these two candles. It's in this range. That's a liquidity. Let's look at the 5-minute quickly. Yeah, this one right here. That 5-minute aligns perfectly with the 15-minute. So we're going to keep this 15-minute. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. Zero 043868. Just look at the 1-minute as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the 1-minute candle here today. Yeah. $133 pips. Yeah, this candle, 321982. And that candle aligns perfectly with this candle, this 15-minute candle. Perfect. That's a liquidity candle for both these zones. This is one zone, though I've split it into two, into a 1 hour and a 30-minute zone. That's one zone. On the 1 hour, that's just one. one block there, right? And that's a liquidity candle in there. Perfect. We're coming, we've tapped it, and we're dropping heavy. Mm. Okay, let's take a look at this area for a liquidity candle. It's a fairly large zone, 350 pips. Start with the 1 hour. This candle is outside the zone. Let's go to the 30-minute. Start with this. $173, $138. Yeah, it's just that. There are two candles in that liquidity in that zone. The next is this. The next is this. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. Yeah. Yeah, and we tapped it perfectly and pushed up. Asian session, also London session. 992650. The next is this, 070983. Yeah. So once we break below 3367, we're coming down to the next one. About 60, 70 pips to the next liquidity candle. And then below that, that's about 460 pips. Then we have this zone. Let's take a look at this as well. That's 230 pips. Go to the 30-minute. Yeah, that's the candle for now. Let's mark this. Let's take the 15-minute. Look at the 15-minute. Yeah, this 15-minute candle. Let's take a look at the 5-minute quickly. Yeah, this 15-minute candle right here. The price has tapped it already on the way up. So if you're coming down, if you have a lot of bearish volume, we're going to go through all three of these. We're going to come straight to 3332. or further down. 39.83, 23.88. Three double eight. Okay, that's it. We're dropping hard right now. We've got about 24 minutes to news, and we're pushing down. Okay. All right, let's take a look at what price has done in the Asian and London sessions. That's the market open right there. 3386. This is around the Frankfurt Open. That's fine. Okay. 333. 74. 626. 580. Okay, Asian session, we pushed down 290, almost 300 pips. And then in the London session, about 200. So about 300 in the Asian, about 200 in the London session. Okay, let's take a closer look at what price has done. We still have about 21 minutes to news. Got plenty of time. Okay, so what happened yesterday? We were bearish yesterday, right? So price pushed down. There's a massive 300 pip. Was it 300 pips? Yeah, almost 350 pip candle, 30-minute candle, and then a pullback to a liquidity level, 50-minute resistance form. We're going to talk about this trade today. It's one of the setups. We'll come back to it, but it's this setup, right? It's this one right here, where price is 200 plus pips away from the EMAs. It pulls back, creates 50-minute resistance and a 50-minute tradable back candle closes to come and retest the low, and that's exactly what happened. Okay, this is the candle, and price broke the low and pushed down. Now there was no pullback, but if you're a breakout trader, that's the trade to take to come down, right? I just wait for a smaller pullback to get in on the trade. But if you don't need the pullback, then you can take the breakout as well. There's nothing wrong with that. I just prefer pullbacks because it gives me a tighter stop loss. Okay, so we were bearish basically second half of NY session. Then the market opened here. One second, just save this. Okay, so the market opened here. We had formed a liquidity candle on the way down. Price pushed the market open here. Price pushed deep into the liquidity candle, tapped the EMAs, formed 30-minute resistance right there, and that was the Asian session trade to take. And it tapped the liquidity candle and the EMAs and 3,400, right? Three liquidity levels with one 30-minute resistance candle, right? Three of these liquidity levels: the BRN, or the psychological round number, the liquidity candle, and the EMA, right? So that's the EMA, the BRN, and the liquidity candle. Three liquidity levels, three areas of liquidity with one 30-minute resistance. Perfect trade, right? You don't get better confirmation than that. That's perfect confirmation to take the cells down, right? All you got to do is just enter wherever you enter, put your stop loss above the liquidity candle high. That's the safer stop loss, and prices come deep in after this candle formed. It's come deep in. So you can enter at 3,400. That's a liquidity level. You can enter at the EMAs, put your stop loss there, right? About 20 pips, 25 pips stop loss, and take it all the way down. What's the next liquidity level? The liquidity candle here to the left, right? Price moves, as I said, from liquidity to liquidity. So if you enter there, you took about easy 200 pips, right? With a 25 pip stop loss. Okay, so we formed, let's go back to what the 50-minute time frame, right? We formed the Asian high, and we pushed down, we ranged a bit, and then we pushed eventually down to the liquidity candle. We rejected the liquidity candle, formed the Asian low, pushed back up to this liquidity candle again, came very close to the EMAs, formed 30-minute resistance again, right there. That's the London session trade to come back down because it's below the EMAs. And we came back to the liquidity candle, and then we pushed back up from the liquidity candle back to this liquidity candle and the EMAs, and past the EMAs to 3,400, right? Then we form 30-minute resistance again. So this is the third time. Here's the first, second, third time, and we're pushing down again. Very likely coming back to the liquidity candle. That would be the top of the range. This is the bottom of the range, right? Unless news comes in and we have a deeper pullback and then we drop later on. That's possible too. Now, price is right in the middle. I will not do anything here. We're in between supply. We have got 60 pips to the liquidity candle, and then we've just dropped in from the EMAs and the liquidity candle 50 pips away from that as well. So we're right in the middle. I'm not doing anything here. I'm going to wait. Let's see how this 30-minute candle is going to close. If price is going to pull down, or are we going to push back up here? All right, we just have to wait. It's better to wait for something like yesterday to happen, right? For a clean move up or down, and then look to take the retest, right? We're going to talk about that trade setup in a bit. Okay, let's discuss those two setups. Just a second. Okay, right. Yesterday, we discussed these two setups, right? These two setups. I'll do a quick recap on it. So it's basically if price creates a new high in any session that you trade. It could be in the Asian session, the London session, or the New York session, right? Any one of those three main sessions. Now within those sessions, there are hours with certain where you get a volume push, right, within those sessions. So for example, the Asian session, I'll give you the times in IC Market Server time because that's the broker that I use. I said this yesterday as well. Starting from around 2 a.m., 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m., 3 a.m. is when you will possibly get one push, right? Then again around 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m., or 6 a.m., you'll get a second push, right? So that's the Asian session. Then when it comes to the London session, you'll get a volume push around 7:30, 7:45, 8 a.m. That's IC Market Server time, right? All of these hours that I'm giving are in IC Market Server time. And then later on, around 10:30 a.m. IC market server time, or 11, 10, 10, 10:30, 10, or 10:45 or 11, right? That's the London session. And then for the New York session, you get the pre-NY, so that's around 1400 hours IC market server time, 50, and then the NY Open is 1500 hours IC market server time. And then for the next 2 hours, then you have NYSE Open, which is around 1630 IC market server time, an hour and a half after the NY Open. Okay, and then we also have the London close, which is around EST is around. I know it's around 12 noon EST. Don't know what the IC market server time for the London close is. You'll have to do the math on that. Okay, so we discussed these ideas. If price creates a new high in any one of the sessions that I mentioned, uh, look for and you didn't get in on the trade, then wait for the pullback, wait for 30 minutes support to form, a 30-minute tradable bull candle to close to take the buys to go up, right? Same with the sells as well. If price creates a new low in the session that you trade, wait for price to pull back. Don't try to chase price, wait for price to pull back. Wait for 30-minute resistance to form and a tradable 30-minute back candle close to take the sells down, right? Now we shared examples of these on the charts, live examples on the charts yesterday. You can go watch yesterday's stream. Then the second setup was if price comes to a zone, which means a high liquidity candle. So that's a zone because that's an area, that's a zone. It's not a specific price level. 3,400 is a specific liquidity level. It's a price level. The EMAs are specific price levels. The weekly SR levels are specific price levels. The liquidity candles are zones, right? So if price comes to a liquidity candle or a liquidity level, a specific price level, and forms 30-minute resistance and 30-minute tradable back candle closes, then you can look to take the sells down within your trading session. Again, all of these are within your trading session. Again, we did examples for all of these, right? And even today, there's a perfect example. If you look at the Asian session, price has come to the liquidity candle and to the EMAs and to 3,400, form 30-minute resistance and a tradable 30-minute back candle closed. You can take this trade to come all the way down, right? Okay. Now let's go to setup number 3. Let's go to setup number 3. Okay. If price is over 200 pips away from the EMAs at its highest point, right? If current price is plus 200 pips away, so it could be 250, 270, 300, 400, 500 pips away from the EMAs at current price, and it begins to pull down, then you don't have to wait for 30 minutes support to form. Like in this case, you don't have to wait for 30 minutes support to form and a tradable 30-minute bull candle close. You can wait for 15 minutes support to form and a 15-minute tradable bull candle to close to take the buys to go up. Same thing applies to this as well, right? If price is more than 200 pips away from the EMAs at its lowest point at current price, then you can wait for price to pull back, create 15-minute resistance and a 15-minute tradable back candle to close to come down and retest the low, right? And that happened yesterday, right? If you look at the 15-minute chart, price made a massive push down. If you didn't get in on this trade, no worries. You just have to wait for price to come to a liquidity level. It came to, this is the closest liquidity level, which is 3,400, right? We came to 3,400 and 30-minute resistance form, but this is a doji. This is a tradable 30-minute back candle close. It touched the EMA, it touched the BRN, or the psychological round number, and you can take the breakout, or you could have waited for a pullback. If you wait for a pullback, there was no entry, but if you entered at the breakout, then you got the trade to come down, right? So that's an example of this setup right here. Okay, now how you want to enter That's entirely up to you if you want to enter based off a lower time frame supply demand zone, a 5 minute supply demand zone, or a 1 minute supply demand zone. That's entirely up to you. If you're a breakout trader, that's fine too. I just like to wait for a pullback because it gives me a tighter stop loss. That's the only reason. There is no other reason for it, right? That's the only reason that I trade pullbacks, because it gives me a lower risk, tighter stop loss, and a higher reward potential. That's the only reason. There is no other reason. There is no other benefit to it. It's just a smaller stop loss or lower risk, right, for a higher reward potential. That's it. Okay. Uh, and by doing that, sometimes I don't get in on the trades, right? But if you're a breakout trader, it's very likely that you'll get in on the trade. But the downside of that is you'll have a larger stop loss than what I will have, right? So you need to find a way to manage risk, basically. Just a second. Okay. Yeah, we got about 10 minutes to news. Let's quickly go through this. So the same thing applies to buys as well. Let's see if you can find an example, a quick example here, where price was over 200 pips away from the EMAs. Yeah. So this one right here, right? So price at the highest point at current price is 270 pips away from the EMAs, pull back, right? 15 minutes support formed, but no top wick. No top wick. When there is no top wick, I wouldn't take this trade. When there is no top wick, it's very likely price could go up, but price could easily push down as well, right? So there is no top wick. I wouldn't have taken that trade. This would be the trade that I would have taken. This 50-minute support form, but that's a doji. That's also a 50-minute support form, but that's a small body candle, again with no real wick. That is a perfect tradable candle, right? But again, no pullback. It came to the EMAs, that's a liquidity level, and then it broke the high and continued to that high and went further on. That's the trade that I would have taken, but there was no pullback again. It's just a breakout trade. Okay, so that's an example for this. The next one is to wait for a break of a zone or a liquidity level, right? Just a sec. So in this, in the fourth setup, once you have a liquidity level or zone drawn, if price breaks and closes above it, so it could be a 30-minute close above it or a 15-minute bull candle close above it, and then immediately the next candle closes back inside, right? Closes back inside the zone or closes below the liquidity level, price level, then that's a trade that you can take to come down, right? Let's see if you have an example here. It's tough to find example because zones are redrawn right now, so it's going to be tough to find an example in this scenario. Yeah, these zones they were all redrawn, so you would have to look at, yeah, tough. You'll not be able to see that here. You'll probably, if there's a live example, then I'll show that. Um, yeah, something similar to this. This is something similar. There's a liquidity candle here on the way down, and there's a psychological round number here as well. Price closed above. Next one is a doji. Next one closed back below below inside the zone and below 3,400. Right? This close is at 3,400, just below, and that's a trade that you can take to come down. Something similar to this, right? Now it's hard to find that here in the New York sessions because we've redrawn these zones. So if there were older zones, then it would have been easier to see them. But since we've redrawn them, then it doesn't. You can't see them. Now again here, this is another example. Price closed above 3,400. A bull candle closed above, no top wick. Immediately the next 30-minute candle closed back below 3,400, and that's another reason to take this trade to come down. Okay. Right. And the same thing applies for buys as well. If price closed below a liquidity candle and immediately closes back inside the liquidity candle or closes below a liquidity level or a price level and immediately closes back above it, either the 15-minute candle or the 30-minute candle, then you can take buys to go up. Okay, and again, let's see if we can find an example. I doubt it, but let's see, because these zones are all redrawn. Yeah, so something like this, right? You had a back candle close below um, 3,350, immediate 30-minute candle close back above 3,350. Again, there is no pullback, but there is a breakout to take the trade to go up, right? There's a liquidity candle here. Price went pushed past the liquidity candle, broke the liquidity candle. That's a liquidity candle. That wick there. There's I think, a 15-minute candle there, I think. Yeah, that 15-minute candle, we broke below the low, immediately closed back inside on the 15-minute time frame, right? So we broke below, we broke past that low, immediately closed back inside. On the 50-minute time frame also, you can take the breakout, put your stop loss under there, and take the trade to go back up, right? So that's an example of this. I hope it's clear, right? So those are the third and the fourth setup. So these are the four setups that I look for every day. One of these four every day. That's it. That's it. That's all I do. One of these four setups every day for the past however many years, right? One of these four setups. The PDF of this you can find in the group. If you want to know how to get into the group, there is a link in the video or in the bio, YouTube bio. You'll find a link, and you can just go grab that. You can download the PDF. If it helps you, you can print it up, put it on your wall, right? That's what I do. Um, and this is the same thing, right? Um, I've just written it down here, right? That's the what it kind of looks like on the chart, and this is what it is, right? Now, it helps to call it out live. If you're trading alone, then it's good to call it out live so that you hear, you kind of hear what you're doing, right? So this is for example, if you see price create a new low in the NY session, if it does that today, then you can call it out. Okay, price is creating a new low. I'm going to wait for price to pull back, create 30-minute resistance, and I'll wait for a 30-minute tradable back candle to close to take the sells down, right? And that's the trade that you should be waiting for. Once you call it out live, it's easy for you to visualize it in your mind. And once you visualize it in your mind, it's easy to wait for that to print out so that you're very focused, so you know what you've seen it in your head, and now you want to see it happen on the chart. And once you see it on the chart, you can take the trade with confidence, right? So again, these are one of the four setups that I always look for. Okay. Um, yeah, we'll talk about entry rules and risk management later on, probably tomorrow. Yeah. So these, I don't want to give out too much information. It's an information overload. So we did two setups yesterday. You can watch yesterday's stream, and we did two setups today. Okay, with examples for each of them. And as I said, if you want to download the PDF, it's here. Let me just show you guys where the PDF is. You'll be able to access this group. There is a link in the video or in the YouTube bio. And when you do that, if you go to the price action entry alerts topic, you'll find the PDF there. I've just posted it yesterday. Okay. All right. So we got a minute and a half to news. We're pulling back. No top wick on this candle. Likely going to push up. Let's see what's happened on 30-minute. 30-minute we're bearish. We could push up here. We formed 30-minute resistance. Yeah, let's see if we have a. This has taken out this high. This has taken out this high. Eight two nine 014. Yeah, maybe if it comes here, I'll take an entry. Yeah, if it comes here. Probably place a pending order right here. 422. The 5 minute, yeah, there's a zone right there. We just place it below that. This open is 390. I'm not sure whether they're going to come up. We might just continue to drop. Yeah, I think we're going to continue to drop. We're not going to pull back. But if we do, I've placed a pending order there. I like taking pullbacks. Sometimes I don't get triggered, but that's okay. It gives me a tighter, a smaller stop loss. So that's about 50, 60 pips. And a second entry I would place maybe here, right at the sniper level. Yeah, those two entries. So this has a tighter stop loss, about 30 pips, and this is about 60 pips. And the reason for that is 30-minute resistance form inside pre and Y, tradable 30-minute back handle close. Then I go down to the 50-minute time frame and I look for the most two recent M15 highs that I've taken out. This one took out that high, and this one took out that high. I start from 1400 hours IC market server time, right there. See, I don't look uh, for high breaks before that, right? So this one is okay because it opened at 1400 hours IC market server time. It broke this high, and then after that, this is the next one that broke this high. So from the low, for the most recent low to the highest high in that range. That's how I draw the fib. Any questions on anything that I've discussed so far? On the analysis, on why I place pending orders here, on the four setups that I've discussed? You can post a question in the chat. Yeah, that's a no top wick, so we could push down. No top wick on that candle. Yeah, that's a strong bull candle close. It's a 45. Yeah, we could push up as well. Let's see. Hmm. Okay, so if you get triggered here, where am I going to manage risk on this trade? That's important as well, right? So let's take a look at this very objectively. If we get triggered, if the orders get triggered. Let's look at 3399. Yeah, yeah, 3399 or 3400 is a good level to manage risk if these orders get, if these orders get active. And then beyond that is, yeah, we're pushing down, we're not coming up, we're not coming up, pushing down. We just tap the EMAs and we're pushing down. It's not coming up. Yeah, that's it. Once it taps this and rejects a liquidity level that's in between, then unlikely. Yeah, we're coming down. We drop 70 pips. Tap that, drop 70 pips. These, the EMAs, the psychological round numbers or the BRNs or the weekly SR levels, those are price levels, specific price levels. So if you look at the 1 minute and it taps that and it rejects that area, and if one of those levels are very close to an optimal or sniper, then price doesn't need to come to the optimal or sniper level. It'll tap one of them and push down. That's exactly what happened. We pushed down 70 plus pips. We could continue further down. Let's see. Because what's that saying is price has tapped a liquidity level, right? Right? These are the liquidity levels. I keep putting this up on the chart on the screen, 3-4 times a day on the streams. These are the liquidity levels. So if it taps one of these, any one of them, that means price has grabbed liquidity. Now, the question is, did it grab enough liquidity to push down to the next liquid level? Did it grab enough liquidity here and in the liquidity candle, because that entire area is a liquidity candle, that's the zone, and that's a liquidity price level? Did it collect enough liquidity here to push down to the next liquidity level, which is the liquidity candle below here, right? If it didn't, then it'll come further up, and maybe it will come deeper into the liquidity candle, or it'll come to the EMA here, and it'll tap and it'll go further down. Okay. It all depends on how much of liquidity there is enough for price to push to go in the opposite direction. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Still waiting. There's nothing happening. Very similar to yesterday. Price news came out, price didn't do anything. Um, a, a place pending orders here, this area, and here at this drop base drop. Yeah, open 90. Yeah, 92. But I don't think we're going to come there because we've tapped the EMAs already. We're pushing down. Yeah, we're coming down. And we're coming down to, if you want to take the breakout, you just have to find a way to manage risk. But we're coming down to 3377 to the London low. Right? That's where we're heading to. That's the London. It's the London high. We closed below. We rejected the London high. We're coming down to the London low. So 3376, 3377, around that area. And then if there is more volume, we could continue to 3367 as well. That's possible too. Yeah, we're pushing down. 15-minute candle, bear candle closed, we're pushing down. Once we break this low, we should come further down. So probably push up, create a top wick, and then come down. Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah, not enough volume to head down. Trying to push back up. This 5-minute candle, clear rejection, lower time frame support level right here, 15-minute support. Eight four, 5-minute candle, close strong bullish, trying to push up. If we close, we need to close below 3384. 15-minute candle needs to close below 3384. Close below this, then we're coming down to 3376. We're coming to 3376. We need a 15-minute close below this, then we're coming down. There we go. Should continue down. See if the candle closes. Got 9 minutes more. It's got a long time for the candle to close. But if you close below 3384, then we're pushing straight down 3376. And then if you continue to have more volume, then we're coming to 3367. And if you have even more volume, then we're coming down here, 3360 or 3361. Depends on how much bearish volume there is today. And if there is even more volume, then we're coming to 3350 or 3351. All depends on how much bearish volume there is. If there isn't volume, then price will come here, tap one of the liquidity levels, create 30-minute support, and a tradable 30-minute bull candle will close and price will start moving up. Very similar to yesterday. We range and then we had a sudden push down, massive push down. Could happen today as well. Yeah, the 1 hour candle is very likely probably close a doji, because the previous 1 hour candle had a massive push down, clear rejection, but no bottom wick. So we could start to push up as well. It's very possible. Could start to push back up. No bottom wick here. And if you push up, if you create support here and start to push up, Then we're going to go past this liquidity candle. We're coming up here because that's the next area for liquidity, because this liquidity is very likely consumed. Look at the amount of times prices, that liquidity candle, we've gone past it already, came down, went deep into it again, tapped the EMAs, tapped 3,400, came down, again came back, very close to the EMAs into the liquidity candle, pushed down, again came deep in to both EMAs, liquidity candle, and 3,400, and again trying to push down. So this area, prices spend a lot of time here. This area is clean, right? We haven't come here yet. So price, if it comes back here again, if it forms support and comes back here, then we could easily start to push up here. Very possible. That's another reason why I wait for pullbacks. It doesn't, the orders don't get triggered all the time, but the risk is less. If it comes down and I go in drawdown, I can very quickly I can lose less basically. So there are pros and cons to everything, right? The downside of that is uh, because I don't take a breakout, I might not get in on the trade. And if this is the maximum pullback, the EMA, then price is not going to come all the way up here. Then that's it, and then we're going to push down. Let's see how this 30-minute candle is going to close. Be the close of the 1 hour candle as well. Are we going to close? Are we going to form support here? If you form support, you got to be careful. If you form support, because we're creating, there's a lower low here, a higher low here, and then if you form support here, then there's another higher low here. So then we're creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Then I'm going to be very careful with these entries. Price begins to come up. Let's see. I might close these entries. It all depends on if we're going to form 30-minute support here or not, or 1 hour support here or not. 3.5 minutes. Let's see. If you close bearish, then good. Then we're coming down. Okay, let's see. 30-minute is, let's see, unlikely. We're forming support. Yeah, unlikely. We're pushing down. No support formed. Just 10 seconds for the candle to close. Yeah. If we formed 1 hour support here, then we could be pushing back up, or even 30-minute support, but we're not. So price could continue dropping down, but it needs liquidity. It's struggling here right now. It needs to close, 15-minute candle needs to close below 3384 for price to push down. Asian sessions have been far easier to trade over the last 1.5 months. Clean setups, at least for the way that I trade. 30-minute resistance, 30-minute tradable, back handle close, this one or this one. And then you just you place pending orders on the pullback. However you want to trade, it can be at the EMAs, it can be at a BRN, it can be based off the 15-minute fib that I use here. And then it's just a clean drop down to liquidity. New York Asian, the New York Open, NYSE, NY Open, NYSE Open has been messy, very messy, last month and a half. Mm. We have come to both levels perfectly, tapped them perfectly. Look at that. Perfect tap of support. That's the zone. First push was here, 3410, roughly 3410, 3411, 3410. Next one was 3374, right? It's pulled back up, grab liquidity 3430, and straight push to 3375, around 3375, right? And that's exactly what happened. First push down here from 3340, next one down here, 3375. Then we have a gap. But here we have clear resistance. Clear resistance here. Resistance. Resistance. Form support here, support here. We could start to push up now. We've tapped the minimum. 3411 is the minimum. Then next we came even further down, 3375. Now 3380. If we form support already here. Yeah, we could begin to push back up. Could begin to push back up. Very possible. I'm going to be very careful with these entries. I'm going to be very, very careful with these entries, because if you form support, as I said this several times, if you form support here, then we're coming back into this area. And price has come here many times, right? This was when we create a liquidity candle. That's once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. So if it comes the 5th time, then we could break this and continue up here, because there might not be liquidity here anymore to pick up. Could be coming up here. I'm going to be watching this area. If you form support here, might not take these pending orders. Just going to watch. Let's see. Let's wait for support to form first. If we form support, 30-minute support or 1-hour support, very likely 30-minute support, then I might not take these pending orders. I'm going to just wait for price to come further up and then look for one of these setups, right, that we've discussed, one of these 4 setups. This makes sense. Price came here, that was the zone at 3450, pushed straight down, 380 pips, then pushed further, another 360 pips. All in all, 750 pips. And now if you form support, lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and we form support, then very likely we're going up to create a higher high. Then these pending orders make no sense, right? Does that make sense? These pending orders make no sense. So I'm waiting for the 30-minute candle to close. Let's see. It's 21 minutes more. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to close this order. I don't like it. I'm going to close that. I don't like the fact that we haven't been able to close below 3384 on the 15-minute chart. The 15-minute candle has not been able to close below this to push down. I don't like that. I'll keep this pending order. It's a very small risk, about 18 pips, 17 pips, maybe 20, 25 pips. That's okay. But this one I took off. I don't like the fact that it's, yeah, I don't like it. Yeah, 1 hour candle close the doji. 15-minute support has formed here twice. 30-minute support is trying to form. Yeah, I don't like this pending order here. It could work. Price could come here, tap here, and push down 100 pips, but I don't like it because this has happened. Price is tapped. Let me just, that's the zone, okay? 44, 68. Okay, that's the zone. Drop, base drop from this 3,450 level. The 1 hour candle pushed straight down here, right? Two 1 hour candles pushed here. We formed support. If you look at the 30-minute time frame, we rejected this area and pushed up. So that's the first area price will come to 3411. Then we rejected 3430 and pushed straight down to the next support area, which is 3375. Then we created support, that was resistance, and now we're trading above, we're trying to trade above 3380, right? If you're trading below 3380, fine, we're going to come further down. We're going to come here, right? It's very likely we'll come down here. Okay, that's the next drop. The problem is we're trading above watch this price, 3380. We're trading above 3380 right now. That's the issue, not below it. If you're below it, then we're very likely coming down to 3367, 3350, and further down here, right? That's another 600 pip drop. But we're trading above this. That I don't like. So by trading above this, what we're doing is we're creating high highs and high lows. So we created a lower high here, high low, high high, high low. And if you form support here, we formed 15-minute support twice already. If you form 30-minute support, then we're coming straight through. Does that make sense? Yeah, I'm going to be here for another maybe 5-10 minutes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll keep that. Let's see. Mm, let's see what to do. Moved my pending order up there to this drop base drop 5-minute on the 5-minute supply zone, right? I'm going to leave it there. Very tight stop loss. About, yeah, about 20 pips, right? That's it, just 20 pips. That's okay. and it could drop here and push up. So I'm going to watch that area. I remove the pending order from here. I don't like the fact that price is forming support. I didn't like the fact that 50-minute candle hasn't closed below 3384. That's a minor support level. We haven't closed below that. Instead, we formed support and we're trading above 3380. That's the previous resistance level, right? That resistance is visible on the 1 hour and the 4 hour, right? That's a high time frame resistance level. Look at that. 3380. If you look at the 1 hour, it's very clear. There's resistance there. There's resistance there. There's support there, support here. Then there's support here. And then we're either, if we stay above, we're pushing up. If we stay below, we come down, right? That's been the story at 3380, right? Again, we have resistance here, support here, pushed up, stayed above. We closed below, stayed below. We rejected, stayed below, then we closed above, stayed up, then we pushed up, we closed below, we came down, right? Same thing here. So now we're again trying to stay above. That's the reason I took off the pending order. I don't like that. And this is the clean liquidity zone. Price has come to this area many times. We counted 5 times, right? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5th time. So if we come here, then the next clean liquidity level is here. This one here. If we go past this, then it's this liquidity level right here, 3430. Yeah, I don't like the fact that price is creating support. 13 minutes more for the 30-minute candle to close. I'm going to wait for the 30-minute candle to close. Let's wait. Yeah, I'm going to wait for that, and then we'll end the stream. We're very likely going to close bullish. And if you close, I'm going to keep the pending order there. It's a very small risk. It's a 20 pip risk on that trade. If you get in and it pushes down, great. If it doesn't and we hit stop loss, that's fine too. It's just 20 pips. And if we form 30 minutes support before this order gets triggered, then I'm going to close this pending order. That means we're forming support. We're going to push up. We're very likely coming further up, right? Does that make sense? If before the order is triggered, if 30 minutes support forms here, I'm going to close the pending order. I'm going to delete the pending order. And the reason for that is prices come here. This is the 5th time now. Prices in the liquidity candle, the 5th time. Once, it pushed down, it created it, pushed down, came back in. That's once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and now this is the 5th time. So we're very likely going to break this. The liquidity is consumed in this. Assumption is that on the 5th time, liquidity is very likely consumed, and it's coming up to look for fresh liquidity, for more liquidity to drive price down. Any questions on this, on why I did this, why I deleted my pending order? You can always ask in the chat. Yeah, this is a lot of bullish volume. This is a lot of bullish volume. 5-minute candle, 80, almost a 78 pip candle. From 3380, pushing up. I'm going to close this pending order. I don't like it. Yeah, just closed it. Price is not closing in my direction. My direction are sells. It's closing against me. 15-minute candle, 5-minute candle is massive 78 pip candle. 15-minute support has formed once, twice. 30-minute candle is bullish. Just 10 minutes more for the candle to close. Candle has moved already 100 pips. No, I don't like taking sells. Not interested. We're, we're reacting to 3380. We formed support, pushing up, price came, tapped this area. Yeah, no, I'm not taking. I don't I don't care if it drops down. I don't like the fact that this 30-minute candle has moved 100 pips bullish. And it's still trying to push further up. Yeah. I closed the pending orders. I don't like this move up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll end the stream in about 5 minutes. Got about 9 minutes for the 30-minute candle to close, and then that'll be the NYSE open as well. So I'm going to be looking for sells from further up, right? So if price comes past this liquidity level, now two things can happen, right? Let's discuss these setups very quickly. If price, first there are a few ifs that need to happen. If price creates support here, 30-minute support, and pushes further up above this liquidity candle, breaks the liquidity candle, then there are two possible setups. First setup is price closes above the liquidity candle and then immediately closes back inside. Maybe the next candle or the candle after that closes back inside, right? So we close above the liquidity candle or we close above 3,400 and then close back below. Take the sells to come down. That's one scenario. Second scenario, price comes to a fresh liquidity zone, this one, right? Setup number 2, price comes here, creates 30-minute resistance and a 30-minute tradable back candle closes, we take the sells to come down, right? It can happen here or it can happen even further up. That's the trade idea. My trade ideas and my setups and the trades I take are always based on one of these 4 setups. Again, the PDF is in the group. You can download it and use it if it helps you. Yeah, let's see, 7 minutes more. Let's see. Are we rejecting here? Yeah, could be rejecting to come down. Yeah, no, still too bullish for me. If I'm to take a sell here, I want to see a 15-minute back candle close. All right, a 15-minute tradable back candle close, then I'll take the sells to come down. That gives me some sort of confidence that the sells could work, come down. Still pushing up. See, that was a good close there. I'd placed a pending order here. I would have been in drawdown, right? And that is why it's important to see to make sense of what price action, what the candles are saying, right? It made sense for me to close that. I had a pending order here, right here, and another one here. I closed this one. I would have been in drawdown had I had that pending order placed. Because it's very bullish. 5 minutes more for the candle to close, and we're forming support now. Unless in the next 5 minutes this candle drops straight down 80 pips, 85 pips, and flips bearish, then we're forming support, right? Unless this candle drops 85 pips down and flips bearish in the next 5 minutes, that means we're forming support. And if we're forming support, this is the 5th time we're coming here, and we're very likely going to go through this. right? So therefore, these are the two setups that I'm going to be watching for. This one here and this one here, right? Setup number 4, setup number 3, or setup number 2, sorry. Now, there's another setup. If price continues to push high, we create a new high in the NY session. We haven't created a new low or a new high, right? We're still ranging. We haven't broken above this high. This is a pre-NY high. And this is a London, sort of a London low, right? That's a London low. So we haven't broken below this to create a new low. Neither have we broken above this to create a new high. If you break above this, then you could also, before price gets here, you could wait for the pullback, because then you can get rid of this liquidity candle and this supply zone, this 30-minute supply zone. If you break this high, you could wait for a pullback, wait for support to form, and take the buys to go up, to come to this zone. That's possible too. Because if we form support here, you can wait for the pullback if support forms here, if it forms. 3 minutes, 3.5, we'll know in 3.5 minutes if support is forming here, right? If support forms here, then this is 16, the next candle will open at 1630. Yeah, so this low took out this low took out this. Yeah, if it forms here, this is how you draw your fib. And you could take a trade. Yeah, you can take it from here, about 45 pip stop loss to push up. If 30-minute support forms and if this liquidity candle high breaks, price has to break this high first. Unless the liquidity candle high breaks, you gotta wait. You cannot take the trade. Oh, pushing down. Let's see what happens. Zero 014 829. 2 minutes more, and then we'll end the stream as well, right? So I've given out the trade ideas. No, we're going to close bullish. 2 minutes, very likely, very likely. Let's see. You've got to wait for the candle to close. Price can drop like yesterday. That's what happened. I think in 2 minutes or 1 minute, price dropped. Price just dropped past the, where was it? Yeah, this happened in 1 minute. This was yesterday, 134 pips in 1 minute. So you got to wait for the candle to close, because in a minute you can have price push down 100 pips easy. Just have to wait. It depends if some news comes out. We're rejecting this area. Let's see. Okay, right. That will be the end of the stream. 30-minute candle is closing in a minute. It's very likely closing bullish. If you want to take sells here, wait for a 15-minute resistance to form and a 15-minute candle bear candle to close. Right? Don't try to take sells now, because price is against you. 30-minute support has formed and a bull candle is closing in 30 seconds. Okay, so very likely this is going to be a bull candle. Just 30 seconds for the candle to close, and we've formed support. So you got to wait. Got to wait. Don't do anything. If you want to take sells, wait for a 15-minute bear candle to close. All right. Didn't take any trades. I closed the pending orders because price is very bullish. We'll be back tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EST, and we'll do our analysis and see if you have any trades. Now, from my past experience, the first 2 hours, there we go, 30-minute support has formed, and we're trying to push up. Yeah, yeah. Um, I would. The Asian sessions have been better. Asian and London sessions have been much better than the first 2 hours of the NY Open. Anyway, there should be a setup today. Just pay attention to the 3 setups that I shared. Close above, close back below to push down, or price comes here. We form 30-minute resistance, 30-minute tradable back candle close to come down, or that's the second one, or price pushes up, breaks the liquidity candle high, pulls back to the optimal entry. I draw the fib already, right? To the optimal entry or sniper entry and pushes back up, right? So 1 buy idea and 2 sell ideas, all based off this PDF that's in the group. Okay. All right. See you guys tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EST. Take care.